This is episode 11 of Little Fixes podcast. Last episode में we established कि self love is the basis for every relationship you have. आज डिटेल में बात करेंगे सेल्फ लव की रुचिका के साथ. Ruchika is a techie and a meditation teacher who has done skydiving in case you thought that meditation is for boring people. She will talk about how meditation has helped her in taking control of her life and how it can help you. Welcome to Little Fixes podcast. Raw, real, and super fun chats with wonderful people. We discuss valuable ideas and provide guidance to enrich your life. Join us for relatable stories and practical tips for personal development. चाहे वो आपका करियर हो या फिटनेस, सोशल मीडिया ग्रोथ, फैमिली, सेल्फ केयर और भी बहुत कुछ. This is Matri, celebrity stalker and your host. Hi Ruchika, welcome to the show.
Hi, Maitri. So nice to be here.
Ruchika is here finally. We have had a streak of bad luck with recording. Ruchika के intro से start करते हैं.
So, firstly, again, thank you for having me here. Your show's been doing great, so I'm very happy to be here. So, little bit about me. I am, I work as a technologist in the New York, New Jersey area. I am a mom to two little girls. Just had a baby 2-3 months ago. I am a meditation teacher with a nonprofit called Art of Living. And so I started meditation many years ago, and I can get into the full story if you like, but I was very young when I started, and it all started because I made my mom fed up of me, and my anger used to come out on her all the time. So finally she was like fed up of me, and she said, tum kuch karo iske bare mein, and she introduced me to meditation, and it was really life-changing for me. So that whole concept of inner peace became practical for me. Like, how do you get it? People talk ki acha, you should have inner peace, and it became more practical for me. So that's how I started on meditation and spirituality.
I would say your mom was very sorted. मेरी mom होती ना bathroom में बंद कर देती go.
Yeah, I have to thank her for that for sure.
Definitely. So, Ruchika, first of all, tell us what is meditation, because there is a lot of misconception about meditation.
Yeah, so this is very true that there's a lot of misconception because a lot of people have the perception that meditation is concentration. I mean, do you feel like that's what you've heard? Like, oh, I need to focus. I need to, like have no thoughts, this, that. But if you think about focus, right? So suppose you were studying for like, go back to your college days, right? जब हम लोग exams के लिए पढ़ते थे. So, you're focusing. Do you feel energized after focusing for some time, or do you feel sort of depleted and tired?
I think I don't feel anything. I'm like, I'm not able to concentrate. Leave it.
Yeah, so because concentration itself takes a lot of effort, so that's why, like, what happens is putting in all this effort into focus and concentration, and I cannot meditate because I cannot focus. That is not meditation in the way that I have learned and I practice. For me, meditation is restful awareness. So think about this. When you're sleeping, right, you are resting, but you are not aware. Right? When you are awake and you are focusing on things or you are working on something, then you are aware, but you are not resting.
Yes.
So meditation to me is a very beautiful sort of amalgamation of restful awareness. You are resting, you're not putting energy and effort into anything, but you are also aware, right? You are aware of your surroundings, you are aware of where you are. So that mix is what actually energizes you, and meditation then results in focus, results in concentration, but it is not, the process itself to me is not that, and that's why we talk about like just relax. during that meditation. So that's what I define meditation as restful awareness.
Okay. When I try to meditate, मेरे साथ क्या होता है कि I start thinking about all the pending tasks. जो भी बचा हुआ है जल्दी जल्दी यार ये भी करना है ये भी करना है यार मेडिटेशन भी करना है तो is it okay or should I try to get over it?
So this is also the most commonly asked sort of question, and also the most common reason why people give up on meditation. Yeah, they say, "Arey, mere bahut sare thoughts are there, and I'm a busy person, so I'm making my to-do lists in my head, and like, 2 minutes mein I'm done, because I can't have thoughts." But the thing is that the more we resist thoughts, the more they bombard us. So imagine if I tell you, don't think about a pink elephant right now.
And I'm seeing it.
Yeah, your mind will definitely like, oh, pink elephant, acha. What does it have? Spots on it? Does it have, long tail? What is, it will make a whole story.
Yes.
Whereas, so what happens is, I have this writing on my desk actually. I've had it for years. What you resist persists. So the more we resist these thoughts, we say, okay, I won't think about that. I won't think about that. I don't want to. I'm supposed to sit here. I'm supposed to. The more the mind will play tricks, and the more the mind will say, acha, you are trying to take me out. Let me see, So the way to practice it is to just agree with your own self. Make a decision ki, okay, I'm going to sit for 5 minutes. Okay, even if you start with 5 minutes, in those 5 minutes, it doesn't matter. If you get thoughts, let them come. If you don't get thoughts, that's fine too. Do not resist, and just decide ki, acha, come what may, I'm going to just sit here, my eyes closed for 5 minutes and see what happens.
Okay, so is guided meditation a better idea in this case?
So I think it all depends on everybody. Guided meditation is a great way to start, right? Because many times we don't know what we want to do. Because what are we supposed to do sitting here for 5 minutes, right? We don't know. So guided meditation is a great way to just come into that practice of sitting for 5 minutes, right? 5-7 minutes, whatever the guided meditation is. Then slowly what I would suggest is you may start with that, and there are many apps out there where you can start with that. But then I would say if you get sort of comfortable with that, the next step would be to do it on your own. And again, the key to that is do not try to focus, and also do not try to stop thinking, because that is going to be the biggest enemy. And so that way, you're like, acha, main kya karu? That's okay. Karna kya hai? Just sit for 5 minutes. Where do we get a chance in this day and age to just sit, right? If we get 5 minutes to sit on the sofa, we pick up the phone and we do something with it, right? So this, you just agree ki, okay, I don't know exactly what I have to do, but I will make this pact with myself that I'm just going to sit there and see what happens. So I think it's stages. And then for me, what I did is from that stage, I actually learned a meditation technique, which is called a mantra-based meditation. The one that I do, I can share more about that also. But it's a mantra-based one. So what it is that mantra, meaning not a religious mantra, but it's like a seed sound, very much similar to Om. And it's personalized to me. So what I do is I internally use that mantra to go into meditation. And then it's not that I'm chanting that, like it's not a chant. It's more like, okay, you take that mantra in your head and it effortlessly puts you into that meditation. And then the thoughts will go here and there perhaps, and then you just bring your mind back. So I learned that technique because I was ready to sort of make the commitment, okay, 20 minutes I'm going to sit here and I'm going to do this. And one thing I want to add is I have been meditating for 20 years now. And I started with breathing techniques related meditation because for a lot of people who are, feel restless, etc., just sitting there does not work out for them. So for them, starting with a breathing technique is better. Like something like a pranayam is better, because then that helps your mind come into a more calm meditative state. and then you may feel the benefits of just sitting there for 5 minutes. So like I would start with a breathing technique, and at the end of that I'll sit for 5 more minutes for meditation, and my mind automatically quieted down because of that breathing technique and pranayam that I did before. So that is actually one excellent way to also start doing that meditation.
We can start with just a minute. Like if we can't sit for longer
Yes.
duration, we can start with a minute or two, maybe, right?
Yes, absolutely. Like anywhere you are, sometimes, um, so I'll give you an example, right? I go to work every day. I drive, and then I sit in a train, and then then I have a short walk. In the train, not in the drive, but in the train, I sit like imagine it's like a full place with everyone there. I just sit like 1 minute, 2 minutes, I'll just close my eyes and just be present with whatever is happening, you know? And that in itself is very rejuvenating, because you're just taking a couple of minutes to regroup, to center yourself, and so that start with that also is good enough for us in this day to day, like busy lives that we have.
Okay, okay, got it. So, what's a successful meditation?
Successful meditation. So I will flip this question a little bit, because we in this in today's culture and society, right, we are always aiming to achieve something, right?
Yes.
We have goals, we have targets, we have this, we want to be somewhere in our life, we have taken 2020 goals. Okay, I want to achieve this, I want to achieve that. So we already have a lot of opportunities to be successful or fail at something, right?
Yes.
So for meditation, I would say don't have that expectation. There's no such thing as a successful meditation, because it is what you need in that moment.
Okay.
So there is no one definition of a successful meditation. So again, if you think, I'll give my own example, right? Again, 20 years of meditation, and very few meditations have been the same for me.
Okay.
Some days I'm so restless that I just want to get up and go. But I say, okay, I'm going to sit no matter what, right? Some days I go so deep that the moment I sit down, and I go into this sort of deep meditative state, right? But the key every day that you commit yourself to doing this is, I don't have an expectation of any particular experience. Because the moment I have that expectation and I don't meet it, तो क्या होगा?
We'll feel bad. Yeah, क्या फायदा हुआ
हाँ,
करने का?
एग्जैक्टली और फिर मेडिटेशन भी ऐसे ही बन जाएगा कि अच्छा मैं सक्सेसफुल हूँ इसमें या फेल कर रही हूँ, आई एम नॉट गुड इनफ फॉर मेडिटेशन, या मुझसे होता नहीं है, मेरे में कुछ प्रॉब्लम होगी शायद, ये वो, मेरे लिए तो योगा बेटर है, यू नो.
हाँ हाँ, मतलब कॉन्ट्राडिक्टरी हो गया काइंड ऑफ.
एग्जैक्टली. तो इसलिए मेडिटेशन treated as something that is just your way to exist. There's nothing to achieve, there's nowhere to be, and there's nothing to do, And very nicely, I've the spiritual leader I follow, which is Sri Ravi Shankar. He has this quote. He says, successful meditation, say, I want to be nothing, I am nothing, and I do nothing. Right? So going in with that state of mind, whatever type of meditation you do doesn't matter. But going in with that state of mind means you will be quote unquote successful, which is the oxymoron in that.
Exactly. Thanks for clarifying that. Maybe now I can try meditation again.
Yeah.
So, how can it help us in day-to-day life?
Yeah, so for me, like before, in the early days, as I said, I was a very angry person. So when I was young, I had a lot of anger issues. So for me, the biggest thing with the breathing techniques and meditation I did was this sort of inner, like, quietening of that anger, Then what happened? So, and I was young, and then I did, got married. After some time, I was working, and then got married. So it was pretty good. Even though I told my husband, I said if he had met, that many years before, then we would not be married, because I was really very difficult person to be with. Then came motherhood. And motherhood, although it has been the most amazing experience of my life, but I can tell you that I was not expecting it to be this hard. And then what happened is same thing, so I started losing my temper at small things, not at the kids, because the kids, you give your life for the kids, no? So the anger comes out on the other people who are closest to you, the people you take for granted. So in my earlier, when I was young, it was my mom, and then it was my husband. I'm snapping at him for small things, this, that. And then I said, okay, you know what? I need to go back to my basics, which is do my meditation and breathing on a regular basis, because that helped me be a better mom, right? Show up as a better mom and show up as a better wife, etc. And then the other thing, which was even deeper, which I did not expect before that, was that there is always somehow this feeling of guilt as a mother, I'm not doing enough. मैंने ऐसे ठीक से नहीं किया, मैंने उसको ये तो नहीं किया, वो तो नहीं किया. There's so many of these like expectations we put on ourselves, and we are so harsh with ourselves sometimes. We are so we are our biggest critics, if I may say so.
Yes.
Hopefully not everybody, but I can tell you for me personally that was my case. And again, going back to my practice, so you wonder like, why is meditation helping me with that? Because meditation helped me get in touch with my inner source, right? Like my inner self. So then some of these outer expectations, this, that, these started mattering less, and I still remember, this is a very pet peeve of most of us, right? Postpartum bodies. I remember looking at myself after my first daughter was born, looking at myself in the mirror and thinking, what am I looking like, right? There was so much of this self-loathing.
Yes.
It's a very strong word to use, but
it's
it is true that, yes, exactly. And then I said, but this is not me, sometimes, and again, it will sound kooky, but remember, we have to come back to the basics, saying this body is just an outer manifestation of who we really are. And that meditation and spirituality helped me get in touch with, okay, what am I inside? Then my outer appearance doesn't matter to my happiness. Let's just put it that way. It matters, of course. You want to be fit, you want to look nice, all those things are there, but my happiness is not dependent on what I'm looking at in the mirror.
Yes. Happiness, confidence, we lose everything for just something which is not permanent. Like it keeps changing.
Exactly. I love that how you said not permanent. This is exactly it. It's never going to be permanent. It's always going to change. So if your mood swings, if our mood swings based on somebody gave a compliment to me for how I'm looking, or somebody said, "Arey kya, you let yourself go after becoming a mother." If my life and my happiness and my mood depends on that, so I'll be like a football my whole life, na?
Yes.
I was like, this is precious. And so for that reason, I tell you, Maitri, after I had my first daughter, I used to be like a broken record. Every mom I met, every mom's night outs, everywhere I went, I said, listen, like, I don't know how you guys manage it, but I can tell you that for me, meditation has helped me keep sane, and this day and age of postpartum depression, everything, that has been the most helpful thing for me.
Yes, and that's why you are the meditating mommy.
Yeah, I started my Instagram account for that only, because I was like, I want to talk about this. I want to share that, we go through these, and of course, like I said, it's important to be fit. It's important to take care of yourself outwards, everywhere, but we forget mental hygiene. We do dental hygiene, we do outside, we do body hygiene, everything. We forget mental hygiene, and that makes the biggest difference.
Yes. So it's kind of like managing our own emotions with meditation, right?
Yes, exactly.
Okay, so uh, let's talk about self love now, as you said that you kept telling your friends about that. And we
Yes.
put ourselves under a lot of pressure, a lot of loathing, as we just discussed. So
Mm-hmm.
सेल्फ लव का जो एस्पेक्ट है वो कैसे आता है इसमें?
हाँ, तो इसमें क्या है, मुझे ये लगा
हम्म,
कि जब मैं जानती हूँ कि मेरे इनवर्ड्स मैं क्या हूँ, मेरे अंदर में मैं क्या हूँ,
हम्म,
my acceptance for myself, and not only the good things but also my flaws,
हम्म,
started becoming more. Why? Because through spirituality, through meditation, I'm understanding that there is a lot of onions that have to be peeled to go inwards, right?
हम्म,
And when you start shedding all those outside key labels, acha, I'm an angry person. I used to label myself saying I'm an angry person. But then I realized it's not that I'm 100% angry,
हम्म,
but there are some things that trigger me. What are those things? Okay,
yes,
now I know what are the things that trigger me.
हम्म,
Then I said, okay, so that means I'm not a bad person.
हम्म,
So if you work, you ultimately work yourselves backwards, inwards, then you realize, oh my God, you can really accept yourself as you are,
हम्म,
and that to me is the pinnacle of self-love.
हम्म,
Because if you don't love yourself,
हम्म,
then who is going to love you?
yes,
I know that sounds harsh, but the truth is, we have to love ourselves to take care of ourselves. So, in fact, I remember talking about this on my Instagram account also.
हम्म,
We talk a lot about self care these days.
yes,
Okay, self care, matlab, taking care of your health, your fitness, your getting mani pedis, this, that, everything.
हम्म,
If that comes from a place of self loathing, acha, I want to go to the gym, but because I want to go to the gym, I want to look like XYZ, I want to be at this weight because I'm disgusting right now, I'm fat right now. If you come from that place,
हम्म,
then that self care of going to the gym is not going to last long. Whereas if you
yes,
come from a place of self love,
हम्म,
like, oh my God, I am so awesome,
हम्म,
and I need to keep myself fit because I am an amazing mother and I want to be there for my kids. I want to have the energy to spend with my kids. I want and keep up with them because Lord knows that these kids have a lot of energy. When I come from a space of self love, then that motivation to go to the gym will come automatically
right,
because you want to take care of yourself because you think you deserve it.
हम्म,
That to me is self love, no? And that is more long lasting than saying, okay, I look ugly in the mirror.
हम्म,
And again, I'm focusing on this aspect, this very tangible aspect of, you know, post motherhood that
yes,
most of us go through.
yes, yes. Actually, the same example I can see in front of myself. I started going to the gym last year, and one of my friends started too. Okay, and she stopped in less than a month, and she's still
Mm.
like, yeah, I'm so fat, I'm so fat. And I'm like, I'm still continuing not gym but regular workouts and everything, but now I don't think I'm fat. Somehow I'm like, yes, I have lost whatever I could, or maybe I will lose whatever I can, but still I'm progressing, so which is a good thing, I think.
It's amazing. And that's why you are still on the path, no? Otherwise, you would give up because you don't see the results. People want, fast results. If you don't see that,
Mm-hmm.
then that's it. You feel that, oh, I'm not good enough. I failed at this also. And again, you spiral down this, self loath.
Yes, I have lost 1 kg in 1 year. So but I haven't given up.
Listen, I have not even weighed myself, so let's.
So yeah, it happens, but loving yourself is important. Not being unhealthy is obviously not good. But
Hmm.
जो भी कर रहे हो आप उसको अच्छे से करो, हैप्पी माइंडसेट से करो, तो आई थिंक उसका रिजल्ट हमेशा अच्छा ही होता है.
एग्जैक्टली या एंड फिर मज़ा भी आएगा उस चीज़ में
हाँ,
करने में, है ना?
हाँ.
क्योंकि मैं खाना चाहती हूँ अच्छा, तो मतलब मैं अगर बोलूँ कि हाँ मेरे को मतलब फोर्सफुली केल खाना है, तो
Not possible.
मज़ा नहीं आएगा. बट हाँ, या आई नीड टू टेक केयर ऑफ माई सेल्फ.
So जब हम अपने सारे इमोशंस ऐसे मैनेज कर रहे हैं तो डेफिनेटली इट shows up in our parenting also. It helps in parenting also, right?
Yeah, definitely helps in parenting, because I can tell you that it's amazing. If my emotions are running high and if I'm feeling tired, exhausted, sad, whatever, then I react differently. And especially with my 4-year-old, because baby ka to abhi, she only like eats, sleeps, and things. But the 4-year-old has complex emotions and things like that have to be handled, and she has her own mood swings and all that. So what I have noticed is कि मैं अगर calm हूँ
Yes.
और मैं अगर energetic feel करती हूँ या at least calm feel करती हूँ, तो I can handle the same exact reaction from her in a much better way than if I am exhausted or if I am feeling depleted, So for me, first step of parenting has been कि अपने आप को संभालो, then everything to do with the child will follow from there. And I've been listening to actually a lot of podcasts on parenting, conscious parenting, and all this of late, and all of it goes back to what I connected with spirituality initially, which is that if I cannot manage my emotions, then how do I expect this child to do that? है ना?
Yes.
The child doesn't even have that brain regulation to manage emotions, and I'm the adult in this equation, right?
Yes.
So I have to manage my emotions first, and that does not mean that I'm always calm, right? For definitely not. And that is something I'm very open about. It's not that I'm always calm, but this meditation, breathing techniques, what it helps me is to recover faster from losing my cool, so that I can be there for her in a better way.
Yes, we
Right?
discussed the same
And
thing with Vaishali in one of our earlier episodes, and she's
okay.
into gentle parenting, mindful parenting. She's not into terms, but we discussed this, and the summary was this itself: कि we have to manage our own emotions in order to manage our
Right.
kids really well.
Yes, exactly. And then the other aspect is that my child is my older one, especially. She is seeing me take care of myself, right? So, two things happen from there. One is she learns that taking care of your own self and your own mental health is as important as other things in life,
Yes.
right? And the second thing is it encourages her to join me or to practice it on her own.
Right.
So it's kind of like leading by example, but it's not my intention always to do so. But yes, like sometimes when I need a few moments, and I tell her, I said, I say to her that mommy needs to go and meditate right now, so I'll be back, and you hang out here. And past 1 year I've been sort of solo parenting, so I do have help, but parent is a parent,
Yes.
right? So she wants to cling to me, she wants to do this, that. But I say to her, I said, I really need just 5 minutes. Give me 5 minutes. Let me take it, and then mom will play with you. And what she has seen for herself is if she gives me those 5 minutes, and she's saying, okay, if mom takes those 5 minutes, mom is a much better mom than if I don't, and then there are tantrums, So she's seeing that, and I think that it is coming up in her own language, because when I'm seeing slowly, very slowly, she's still so young, but in terms of conflict resolution with in situations, she's saying, oh mommy, I need to take a deep breath. I'm like, yes,
Wow.
you do need to take a deep breath. She says that she takes deep breaths, and I mean, not in the middle of a full tantrum, but if you think about, like, okay, if she's getting upset, she says, okay mom, I'll take a deep breath now, I feel better. I said, yes.
Wow. And she's just 4.
She's 4.5. Yep.
Wow.
Yeah,
Amazing.
and then she says, I know meditating. I said, "Acha, you know meditating." So
Still,
that
yeah, I really need to practice meditation then, because I also describe myself as an angry person. I have done lots of
mhm,
courses, read lots of books, but and even my
mm.
husbands keep telling me this. He tries to calm me down, but I keep losing it.
Because anger, interestingly, because anger is my issue also.
Mm-hmm.
Anger is basically lack of awareness.
Yeah, I feel.
So yes, and then what you say in anger, you always think back saying, "अरे मैंने ये सब क्यों बोला?"
ये सब बोल दिया,
Because
ये
I
सब
didn't
कर
mean to.
दिया. I didn't want to do
हाँ,
that.
correct. So it is basically lack of awareness. So what I have seen with these breathing techniques, meditation, and everything is in that moment, right? So suppose you are suppose you're about to lose it, and someone says, calm down, take a deep breath. That moment may, and people say, count to 10 when you're about to get angry. I'm
Yeah.
like, in that moment, मेरे को थोड़ी याद
नहीं
रहेगा
याद
कि I'm
आता
supposed to
है.
count to 10. Right? So
Yeah.
it never worked for me. But this helps because I'm taking the practice of breathing and meditating separately in a time that you are not in an emotionally high state is actually regulating my emotions, right? So just like if you are angry, your breath becomes very fast and hot, right? If you might have noticed. And if you're sad, then your breath automatically becomes heavy and slow. So yeah, our emotions affect our breath. So that is where the converse relationship is true. That is how breathing techniques help us, because they're like, okay, I'm using my breath to regulate my emotion, but I'm doing it at a different time, so that I'm already calmer. So what started happening with me when I see the anger coming up is I'm aware that the anger is coming up, and the awareness that the anger is rising dissipates it. And there have been so many times when my husband and I are about to have a argument, and I'm about to lose it, and I become aware I'm about to lose it, and instead of saying something hurtful, I start laughing.
Uh-huh. Wow.
And he can see it. He's like, "You were about to lose it, weren't you?" I said, "Yes." And we end up having a laugh instead of a fight, because I'm aware that anger is coming. Immediately, when you become aware, the anger emotion just goes away, because, or at least becomes much less, because you're like, oh, acha, I can see it. I can see it separate from myself
Right.
as just an emotion.
Right.
And this is something in parenting also also applies, that you have to we must teach our kids that emotions are not us, feelings are not us, they're just a feeling. Right? If you feel sad, or if you feel angry, or if you feel annoyed or frustrated, it's a feeling. So that's why they say name the feeling, because it helps to disassociate your being from that emotion. So you stop labeling yourself as angry, and you also stop living as an angry person.
Oh, how profound is that? So true. Okay, और अगर बिजी शेड्यूल की बात करें तो वी विल रादर गो टू जिम, वी विल रादर गो टू अ स्पा दैन मेडिटेटिंग. तो व्हाई शुड वी प्रेफर मेडिटेशन? हो सकता है कि हमें
Right.
जिमिंग से ज़्यादा बेनिफिट हो रहा हो, तो मेडिटेशन को हम फिट क्यों करें अपने शेड्यूल में, कैसे फिट करें?
So that's a great point, right? Because everything has its place. So gymming has its own place, because gymming, I mean, well, I don't know what everyone does at a gym. I to just go and walk and come back usually. But if you are doing exercise that makes you sweat, makes you feel good, of course the endorphin levels will go up and you will feel good, and that has its own place in life, right? Similarly, mani pedi ya fir spa jana, these are relaxation things and everything. It's great. The difference in my mind about meditating versus all these things is that there is that added thing that you are getting in, you are growing inwardly. You are growing as an individual by meditating. You're understanding yourself better. You are understanding your own triggers better. And in this day and age, we always look for activity.
Right.
And believe me, I think we did this even when we were kids, but now the number of things we can use to distract ourselves are more.
Yes.
है ना? So sometimes there are things that we have not dealt with in years, and it's at the back of my mind. अच्छा, उसने मुझे कॉलेज में ये बोला था, अभी भी याद है वो एग्जैक्ट वर्ड्स याद होंगे एंड व्हेन यू थिंक अबाउट इट वो इमोशंस भी आ जाएंगे एंड ऑल दैट. अब ये चीज़ें जो हैं ये मैनी पेडी या जिम से रिजॉल्व नहीं होंगी,
Yeah,
राइट?
correct.
ये चीज़ें जो हैं they will go from self introspection and self sort of deeper dive into ourselves कि अच्छा what is triggering me, कि why, I mean I was called Pinocchio when I was in 8th grade, okay?
Okay.
बिकॉज मेरी नाक लंबी हो रही थी एंड फेस कैचअप नहीं किया था उस टाइम पे. तो मुझे अब मैं हंसती हूँ बट उस टाइम पे मुझे बहुत हर्ट हुआ था. आई वॉज लिटरली नॉट एबल टू लुक अप एट पीपल यू नो, बिकॉज मुझे अपनी नाक ही दिखाई देती थी अपने ऊपर.
Yeah.
एंड so imagine what that must have done to my self-confidence and everything, right? So that self-confidence that I have now in my looks or whatever did not come from going to the gym or going to, I don't have money to do a nose job, right? So that came from knowing that I'm bigger than this, you know. I'm who I am, and this is the world's biggest question is who am I? I am bigger than my nose, you know. And now when I think about that comment, I'm like, I laugh just like you just laugh. So silly.
Yes.
And that person who made that comment doesn't even remember that they made it.
Okay. Yes, that happens. We only remember.
And I have hung on to it for years, right?
Yes.
So this is a silly example, I know, but it's just like that is what it is. It resolves some of those things that are inside us, you know, that affect our level of happiness, our level of confidence, our level of comfort with everybody, right? So that I think is why meditation is a good thing to incorporate. I'm not saying that gym doesn't have its place or mani-pedi doesn't have its place. I mean, I do those things as well, but meditation for me is a non-negotiable on most days.
Okay, even if you have 5 minutes, just sit down and meditate.
Exactly.
Okay. So, are there any resources you recommend for meditation if we cannot go to a particular place where they teach meditation or at least they help us in meditating? There are any resources?
Yeah, so my favorite app, it's called Sattva, Sattva. But there are a lot of apps also. Abhi to, like, you know, there's Headspace, Calm, all those. So my thinking is like you can start with that. But most effective thing I would recommend is just committing yourself ki today I will just sit for 1 minute. Even if you, as you said, start with 1 minute, but without any other distractions. Start with 1 minute a day, sit down in a quiet space anywhere. I know it's difficult for us moms to find a quiet space, but even so, like, just even if you're standing in the kitchen and like cooking something, or you are in, you know, commuting somewhere, you know, like I said, sometimes I do it on the train or wherever you have a moment, just be like, okay, this 1 minute I'm going to close my eyes and I'm just going to let it be. Thoughts come, that's okay. So just starting with that itself is the best thing. And as I said, in terms of resources, there are apps that you can start guided meditations with, and that those are also a good way, of course.
Got it. Okay, Ruchika, now tell our listeners how can they connect with you?
Yes, of course. So the best way to connect is through Instagram, because that is where I'm most active, and my handle is meditating mommy.
Yes, that's how we connected also.
That's right. Yeah. And it's you and I connected when very early when I started my journey, and you've been a great supporter as well. So that's very nice.
I've learned a lot from you. A lot.
I'm glad because as I said, I'm a broken record type of person. You know, anybody I meet, I'm like, I do meditation, and they're like, oh, okay.
Meditation is cool. It's becoming cool actually. I think अब आपको सबको लगने लगा है कि हाँ meditate करना चाहिए, especially because we all are so messed up in our heads.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, Ruchika. So thank you so much for joining Little Fixes today and giving us your time, sharing your knowledge, insights with our listeners. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me, and I really, really look forward to connecting with everyone more. And thank you.
How soothing is Ruchika's voice, right? Her Instagram page is linked in the description and in show notes. I'm definitely getting serious about meditation now. How about you? Next episode भी होगा कुछ love वाला, but something really hilarious. Till then, meditate and subscribe to Little Fixes. Talk to you soon. Bye.